What's up, boys? I'm the Duel Factory, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you a Marincess frog deck profile. As I'd said in the last couple of videos, I had been thinking about playing this deck. I think the Marincess cards are actually really interesting, and coming from a water player, since that's basically where I've had all my success was with water back in 2016. I really enjoy receiving generic water support, and an enemy is a generic water monster that you can make that's really good in that type of deck. However, right now I think the best way to play is with the frog engine, and with playing frogs you have to play paleo and stuff like that, which I didn't really enjoy playing paleo the one time I did build it. However, it's been several years since then. So last week at Locals I put it together, played it, and actually I enjoy the deck a lot. I think it's one of the decks that's going to get better, especially since it's going to get new support, new not paleo cards, but new Marincess cards that we get in the following set. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I played last week. But before we start that, don't forget to check out the X2 Drop podcast that we have come out every Monday on iTunes and Google Play, also on Bingo HG's channel, and then sometime between Monday and Friday on my channel. That being said, let's go ahead and get into the profile. So like I said, it's Marincess Frog, so I'm going to show you the Frog engine first. So we play 3 copies of Swap Frog, he's the best one. Note, this is only the second time I've ever actually played my Ulti Swap Frogs, and I've owned them since they've been released. But yeah, the card does a lot. If you see it in your opening hand, you're in a very, I'd like to say, ahead position. You're not winning the game instantly, but it puts you really far ahead, especially when you see it with another water monster. And the best combo in your deck involves Seahorse and Swap Frog, because that ends on your Marbled Rock and it ends on your Toad, which is a really, really strong play to start off the match. So we play 3 of him, 3 copies to Dupe Frog. This card misses timing in every single scenario imaginable, but in the off chance that it doesn't miss its timing, it does search Swap Frog, and that's really good. It's also really good to summon off of Totally Awesome. Then only 2 copies of Rodent Totem. I would play 1 if it was possible, but you honestly have to play 2. And then for the only main deck Marincess monster, we play 3 copies of Marincess Seahorse. It's the only one worth playing currently that we have access to. I think the new set we get another one to use, but more or less it gets all your combos started. Its effect's really simple. You can special summon it to a zone of Marincess monster points to, or I think it's just a water monster. But anyway, the only time you're doing it is when you do Blue Slug and you have it in. Usually when a Marincess monster feels the only time using the effect. And then you just recycle it constantly during the turn, you just net your advantage, and you end with it in hand, so you have it for the discard for Marbled Rock and stuff like that, so it's really good. And that's it for the monsters. I believe it's 11. Onto the spells, you play 3 copies of Pot of Desires. It is a trap deck. And you can't play Extravagance in this because your extra deck's really important, so we have to play Extravagance, which is fine by me because, you're just playing a bunch of purple cards. So there's that. Now, there are awkward situations that you will banish all of your frogs, more than I can count. But it's still necessary to play into the deck. One of the things I don't like about this is we don't have a way to search Seahorse, so I am committing to playing 2 copies of Signet Mining, so we're playing essentially 5 copies of Seahorse in the deck. I like and hate this card at the same time, because if it's the only play in your hand and you have Ash, or your opponent has Ash, like your turn ends instantly and you're just playing a bunch of trap cards at that point. But when you resolve it, especially with Swap Frog in hand, it just puts you so far ahead, that's insane. And then because I think it's such a high risk, high reward card, I am playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave in the deck. It acts like a pseudo trap card going first. It pushes your Swap Frog and your Seahorse plays through. It's really good. I think I'll continue playing in the deck for now, although I'm not 100% sold on it. But there were situations that if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have been able to play last week, so I think that gives it enough. So that's 8 spell cards. Onto the traps. The one thing that I dislike about this deck is I feel like you have to play this card at 3 copies. And the reason I don't like that, Trap Check is a really powerful card, but it limits you to what you can use per turn, but you need to be able to resolve your trap cards in this deck because you need your Paleos to be recurring back every single turn. And you need access to them. Like, you need access to your Dynamiscus, you need access to Canadian, you need access to Illinoids. And it's also the only other way you can search out the Marincess trap card, which is really, really good, because once you get one in the circulation, then you just keep generating advantage the entire game. But the other downside I think about this card is that you have to build your trap lineup to better tailor towards Trap Trick, because you want it to be live every single time you see it. So you have to play cards like Infinite Impermanence, you have to play cards like Lost Wind and stuff like that, which are really good against like combo, but then against like Stun, True Draco and stuff like that, I don't think those cards are very powerful at all. But it's necessary. It guarantees you get 2 trap resolutions and stuff like that. So I think you 100% have to play Trap Trick in the deck if you're going to play the Marincess Frog version. Then on to the Paleos. 3 copies of Dynamiscus. This card's really insane right now. Keep in mind, you do not discard for cost, you target for cost. You discard at resolution. A lot of people don't know that. 3 copies of Canadia. I think this card is really, really good going first, but going second is where it starts to lackluster. But it's powerful enough, and you have so few powerful Paleos or good Paleos that I think you have to play this card. And it's just, it's not as bad as I think, but it's 100% necessary. And then the best one that doesn't have a foiling is Olenoids. It's your MST of the deck. You can hit a lot of floodgates with this. It lets you combo. It's just a free resolution, honestly. And then on to the 2 of trap cards, like I was saying. Marincess Wave. This card's honestly insane. It's more or less a breakthrough skill. For those of you who remember what breakthrough skill does. Or it's infinite and permanent. But it gains multiple effects depending on the type of Marincess Link monster you control. So you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and then negate the effects. And then negate that face-up monster's effect, and then you gain additional effects. So if you control a link to a higher Marincess monster, this card, all face-up monsters I currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effect, which is really powerful already. And then if you control a link 3 or higher Marincess, so since you end on Marble Rock every time you open the Marincess combos, you can activate from the hand. It becomes a hand trap. So it's a trap card you can activate from hand that also works well with your Paleos. So that's why I think you need to play 2. I wouldn't play 3 because it does nothing without the link monsters on the field. And then what really sucks about this card is you could get away with playing 1 if it was searchable, but it's not searchable currently. And that's really, really tough. And that's why I think your trap lineup, that's another reason why I think you have to play Trap Trick, because you need ways to get to it. And its effect's really powerful. We play 2 copies of Infinite and Permanence. We're not playing 3 because I wanted to make room for more cards in the deck, and you can tutor it out with Trap Tricks. It's like playing 5 copies. 2 copies of Lost Wind. It's one of those cards that works really, really well with Paleos because you get 2 resolutions out of it. When you hard draw it, you get a resolution out of it, and when your opponent sets an extra deck monster, you get another resolution out of it. And you need multiple resolutions out of your trap cards to make your Paleos as powerful as possible. And then since we're playing Trap.deck, we're playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgments. I just feel like it's really necessary to play in decks like these. Especially with people main decking cards like evenly matched and whatnot, you just need to play it. And it's really good. And stun decks like this card's insane. It always has been, and always will be. So that's it for the main deck. It is 40. On to the extra deck. We're still rocking the sweet new Field Center I got. And then we're still rocking my boy Piccolo. But you play 3 copies of Totally Awesome. I think it's necessary to play currently. I did go into 3 a couple times in some of my matches, but it generates a lot of advantage for you. Plus, it's an Omni Negate, so that's really good. When we get the new Marincess stuff, I don't know if we'll continue to play 3, but for now we're definitely playing 3. I think this card's really solid. 1 copy of Animal Icarus, or I don't know, just a big Paleo card. And then 1 of Opabenia. I never made this card, but I think you still need to play it. Same with Opabenia, but I did make it once or twice. And when you put Opabenia on the field, it's really, really powerful, but I don't know if you need to commit to these cards after the new cards come out. On to the other Link monsters. So the Link 3 we played is 3 copies of Marincess Marbled Rock. This is a generic water monster. You do not need Marincess to play it, but it gets better advantage when you do it. But more or less, when you make it, it has 2 effects. Once per turn, you can add back a water monster in your graveyard, or you can target a Marincess card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And then its other effect is when your opponent declares an attack, you can discard a Marincess card, and then for that battle, the damage you take is 0 and the card can't be destroyed by battle. So it's a blanket protection effect, and you always end with Marincess Seahorse on life, so it's always going to be live, and that's not a hard once per turn. So keep that in mind. The best card, and I think you 100% need to play 3, is Marincess Coral Enemy. This is also a generic Link monster for water. Its effect's real simple. When you Link summon it, you can target a 1500 or less attack point water monster in your graveyard and special summon to a zone this card points to. And then when it goes to the graveyard, you can add back 1 Marincess card from your graveyard. And it's generic, so you don't necessarily need a Marincess card to make it. But you can bring back your Swap Frogs and start generating more advantage. You can add back your Seahorses and stuff like that. This card's insane. I 100% think you need to play 3. And since we're playing the Seahorse, you do need to play Blue Slug. It's a generic Link 1 you can make with Marincess Horse that lets you climb up into your Link 3, and it adds back Seahorse when it's Link summoned. And then for the generics, we play 1 copy of Phoenix, which I never made, 1 copy of Star Boy, which I made a couple times. One of the cool things about your extra deck monsters is they recycle all your cards, so you're never running out of cards. So you always have a way to grind out your opponent. And then 1 copy of Boral Sword when you're not locked into water monsters because your Marincess cards lock you into water monsters, other than Marble Rock. You summon Boral Sword, you kill them that turn. That's how you kill them. But that was my Marincess Frog deck profile that I played last week at Locals. I'm going to continue to play this deck, so you're going to see updated profiles of this deck as I continue to play it, and change cards in the main deck, and you'll see the evolution of this deck throughout the time on my channel. So if you like what you saw, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't remember from the beginning of the video, go check out the X2 Drop podcast that me and Bingo HD do every Monday. It goes on iTunes and Google Play on Monday morning, and it goes on my channel sometime between Monday through Friday. As always, I'm the Duel Factory. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.